My clothing brand has made $809,000 in the past 12 months, starting from $0 using mind-numbingly simple strategies anyone can learn in 15 minutes or less. Proof of the results here. As you can see, in the last 365 days, I've done $809,549.37. And as you can see, in May 2023, we were doing close to $0 of revenue. So how did I do this? I used three main principles. Number one, make good products. Number two, present the products in a way that the customer wants to see them. And number three, drive traffic to the products. You might be thinking, it can't be that simple, right? Well, brand owners get so caught up in the complexities of business that they completely forget that business boils down to very simple principles. So, what is business? Business is an exchange of money for value between two parties. For example, we are a clothing brand, and we deliver the value of clothing, status, confidence, comfort in exchange for our customers' hard-earned money. As you can see, this is what business is. We are the company. We are giving value, exchanging value with a customer. In turn, that customer will give us and exchange money back to us. So, knowing this, our goal becomes mind-numbingly simple. We need to, step one, create value. Step two, show the world that we have value. Step three, the customer pays us, and we have to make it easy for the customer to pay us in that process. And step four, profit. This 15-minute video will show you how I use the above principles up here to generate $800,000 from scratch with no connections or prior clout. Like, I literally have 800 followers on Instagram. As you can see, this is me. My name is Dave, and I've been doing Shopify e-commerce for over 7 years. I've scaled 4 of my own brands to over $1 million in revenue, skincare 2 times, jewelry, and now fashion. This is 2017. This is just me with a mountain of inventory for my first ever brand, scaling to over $400,000 of revenue in just a 2-month period. So I've been doing this a long time. This has allowed me to learn firsthand that business is actually simple. And by simply thinking a certain way, by changing your mindset just a little bit, you can achieve a lot more than you originally thought you could. So back to the 4 steps of business. Step 1, create value. Okay, so creating value. What is value creation in the clothing business? Value in clothing comes from design, quality, fit, customer experience. Let's go over each of these one by one. Design. So design is simple, right? Like, it's pretty simple. Like, you literally just make stuff that looks good. But on the contrary, this is actually probably the hardest part about running a fashion business, despite sounding so simple. Like, how do you know what is good? Well, good is defined by what design would the people in the market for your niche of clothing purchase the most of? Well, this comes down to taste, which is developed over time by studying culture, fashion, music, art, and the general social media landscape. You actually have to take the time to develop taste by being part of the culture, whether it's streetwear hoodies, women's dresses, Gen Z fast fashion, whatever it is that you want to sell. You need to analyze the market, study it, be a part of it, so that you know what is good within that niche. Without that, you can't really run a fashion brand. I mean, you could partner with somebody that has that eye for design and then you run the business side. But I'm going to guess most of you don't really have like a team, so you are the designer. So my suggestion to you guys is to really hone in on what your target customer wants. Study what they wear, put yourself in their shoes so you can find out what is good in terms of design for them. Secondly, you create value in clothing business by creating something of quality. Quality is another way to deliver value to the customer. How do you make quality clothes? Well, you have to use high quality fabric. So for hoodies, it would be something like 100% cotton French terry, 100% brushed cotton, or an 80-20 cotton poly blend with absolutely no pilling. You should also make sure that your clothing is pre-washed, meaning that there will be no shrinking after the customer gets them. Quality doesn't necessarily get you the first purchase a customer will make, because, with online shopping and e-commerce, they can't know what the quality is from the picture. You can a little bit, but it's easier to tell the quality in person when they receive the product. So what does that mean? It will get you there second, third, fourth, fifth, Some customers in my store literally have 9 or 10 orders. So do you know why that is? It's because of quality. As you can see here, this customer emailed us to say it was worth it. He bought 2 pieces and the quality is great. Definitely worth the price too. Note in this red circle, he says, but I'll be buying from you guys again. See, that is the key, and that is why you need good quality. The customer literally says that he's going to be buying from us again. And not only that, but customers who are enjoying the quality of your pieces, they will go ahead and tell their friends about the brand because they love it so much. Here's a screenshot of our post-purchase survey that we ask our customers after they complete the purchase. The question is, how did you hear about us? As you can see in this red square, 10% of purchases were referred from a friend. 10% of the purchases in the past 30 days occurred because a friend told them about us. We have a 50% reply rate to the survey, so that means in the past 30 days, over $9,000 of revenue was attributed to our past customers simply telling their friends to go purchase our clothing. Imagine if you can make an extra $10K a month without doing anything, just because someone else told someone else about the brand. That is the power of value creation, and it's only possible when you actually have good quality products. Conversely, if your product quality sucks, they're going to tell everyone they know to not buy your products. There's a quote that says, reputation takes years to build, but only 5 minutes to ruin it. Don't give someone a reason to spend 5 minutes talking poorly about your product. Give the customer quality. Now, fit. Fit is an interesting part of the value of clothing because you can make an amazing design using high quality fabrics, but the fit could just be so wrong that the customer still hates the product. There are 2 things to note about fit. The product itself has to fit well. For example, if you claim to sell a slim fitting dress, make sure it's slim fitting. If you claim to sell an oversized hoodie, make sure it's oversized. 2, make sure that the size charts or measurements of your piece actually make sense for most people. If you sell a size large and it fits like an S in most other brands, customers are going to complain. If they want to buy a large, it has to fit like a large. Otherwise, they're going to complain. Now, customer experience, this is a huge one because you could, in theory, have an amazing design, have amazing quality, have a great fit of your clothing, but you can have a poor customer experience and the customer will still hate your brand. Well, what does the customer experience mean? It's the entire experience from when they find out about you to when they receive and start wearing the product. For example, if the customer orders the product and it takes 2 months to arrive, do you think that's a good customer experience or a bad one? If the customer receives the product and it's not the right size that fits them and you don't offer returns or exchanges, is that a good customer experience or a bad one? So, we both know the answer to that one. The customer is king or queen. You need to really treat them like royalty. Make sure that you operate in a way that allows the customer to have a great experience, or else they are going to go around ruining your reputation. Okay, now back to the 4 steps of business. Step 1, we just went over how to create value in the world of clothing. Step 2, you have the value. Now we need to show the world that we have the value. Just because you create a valuable product and can offer a valuable customer experience doesn't mean that you will make money. You need to develop a predictable and profitable way to attract customers and show the world that you have value. Luckily, if you did step 1 properly, you will have an extraordinarily easy time marketing your brand. I'm going to list the ways that you can show the world that you have value in the order of importance. Paid ads is number 1. Number 2 is organic traffic, TikTok and Reels. Number 3 is Instagram presentation, meaning your social media posts. And lastly, influencers. These are the 4 ways that I personally use to drive $805,000 of revenue for my brand in only the past 365 days. Number 1, paid ads. I'm going to share with you the most simple way to set up your FB ads to scale. In the past 365 days, these are my results. I have spent about $182,000 for a on Facebook purchase ROAS of 2.71 ROAS. I'm going to explain to you now the general setup that I use for most of my brands in May 2024 for the easiest way for a beginner or intermediate person running Facebook ads to start scaling and spending money profitably on Facebook. So it's going to be very simple, 2-campaign structure. You're going to launch an ASC campaign for scaling with all of your proven creatives that you had in the past. And the second campaign is going to be an ASC campaign for testing, in which you test new products and new creatives. You will always test creatives into the test campaign. If it does well in a 3 to 7 day period, you will copy it over into the scale campaign. You will be spending around 80 to 90% of your daily budget on a scaling campaign and about 10 to 20% of your budget on testing at any given time. ASC campaigns are the easiest way to run ads at a low scale for beginner and intermediates because you don't need to change any settings. Just load in your creatives and write some copy and you'll do well. Pro tip, for learning what the best creatives are, I just go to the FB Ads Library. So this is the official Facebook.com ads library. You can enter any brand name and you can spy on their ad creatives by filtering by active. This will show you exactly what they are running for Pretty Little Thing, which is a huge, I think they've done probably $1 billion in revenue by now. They're running 380 results, so 380 ads around the world, active ads, and you can see exactly what's driving them, millions or tens of $1 millions of revenue annually. So now organic traffic is TikTok and Reels. I'm sure you guys all know what this is. Organic traffic is almost a cheat code if you can figure it out for your brand. You can drive millions of impressions and get tons of eyeballs for essentially free. You just have to pay in the form of your time and efforts to create the content and maybe some professional models if you're taking it super seriously. I know a lot of you guys are probably posting on Instagram, but if you haven't started posting Reels and TikToks, please do so now because of the fact that they have the special ability to reach new pockets of audiences way faster and way better than simply posting images or carousels onto your main Instagram feed by itself. For example, here's an example of the brand Broken Planet, who go absolutely crazy on both Reels and TikToks. You can see that they figured out exactly what their target audience will react to, and TikTok and Instagram rewards them for that by serving them millions of impressions to brand new people on the app. Okay, so now, Instagram presentation. This one seems obvious. Every single person has an Instagram, but it's not something I see a lot of people talk about online in depth the way I'm about to talk about it. So, the way you should think about your Instagram is your website before the customer goes to your website. It's a little portfolio of your work, a way to show them your products before they commit to loading your website. It's a process. The point of your Instagram is to get the customer to your website, because where does the customer make the purchase? On your website. Correct. So when they're on your website, you can also grab their email or SMS so you can remarket to them at a later date. So what this means is your Instagram is very, very important. You need to be curating it to the best of your ability so that you can showcase to potential customers your aesthetic, mood, and your pieces so that they trust you enough to click the link in your bio to visit your website and eventually purchase your products. Lastly, influencers. Now, I'm not really going to talk about this that much because this strategy has been beaten to death over the past 5 years or so, but it is still a critical part of your traffic generation strategy. The main point of your influencer strategy, I will mention though, is that content is not only used for driving traffic, but also for your own social media as well as ads. When you create a deal with your influencer, make sure you can include rights to use their content in any social media posts, promotional ads, so that you can use that and leverage it for advertising and prospecting for new customers. Because you will gain additional social proof from being associated with top-tier influencers in your niche. If the influencer can make high-quality reels, then that's a good bonus. Because with their content, your clothing is not only going to reach their current audience, but potentially millions of new people who may be interested in your brand. Here's an example of a group of influencers we worked with who were able to create their own content for us, post it as reels, and drive more than 1 million total impressions across 2 accounts. Okay, now we are moving on to step 3 of our 800K strategy. So far, we've created something of value. We've shown the world that we have this value, and now it's time to enact business. Remember, business is the trade of value for money. The last piece of the puzzle in our strategy is to make it extremely easy for the customer to trade us their money for our value, which is our clothing. So how do we do this? By having absolutely no blockages in our overarching funnel. Our website has to be as conversion rate optimized, people refer to this as CRO, as possible. So let's figure out what this means. In scenario 1, you've created value. You've successfully attracted someone to your website by showing them that you have value, but the website is hard to navigate. There's no FAQ. They can't figure out what the sizing is, and it takes too long to load the damn thing. In the first place, what do you think is going to happen? They're not going to purchase despite them wanting to do business with you. You have failed them. You did not make it easy for them to transact with you. Now let's take a look at a different scenario. You've created the value. You've successfully attracted someone to your website by showing them that you have value. And 3, your website is conversion rate optimized, and all of the answers to their questions regarding shipping times, sizing charts, fit, return policy could be easily found. What will happen in this scenario? Well, you guessed it. They're going to go right ahead and fork over their hard-earned buckaroonies. There are an infinite number of ways to make sure that your website is conversion rate optimized, which I will save for a future video. So make sure to subscribe, and I'll go over what makes a great fashion brand website very soon. Okay. After we've made it easy for the customer to pay us, we now have earned the right to move to step 4, which is profit, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, profit. Congrats, guys. You have earned the right to make profit by following this strategy that I have presented to you. These are the macro concepts and principles that I personally am using every single day, week, and month to run my businesses. I hope that you take these learnings and apply them to your fashion brand so that you may prosper and profit just like we did. If you got value from this video, please spend 2 seconds giving it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. This channel is going to be the #1 hub for fashion education, so stay tuned and the value will be delivered. This has been a pleasure. I will see you next time. Peace.